All right, VV Nation, it's Semiconductor Thursday. I got a great video for you right now. There's one semiconductor in particular that's gotten a bad rap lately. A lot of accusations thrown its way. Now, on top of that, there's another company in another hot space. I mean, these are the two hottest spaces out there. Semiconductors, AI, right? Along with cybersecurity. The two stocks I'm talking about, Crowdstrike and SMCI. Now, we will dive into a few articles, really, just get you caught up on what's going on here. I mean, you probably already know, like I said, I'm going to keep it pretty quick, and we're going to jump right into the VectorVest 7 software. We're going to see how these two stocks match up with the VectorVest indicators, and then we're going to dive into the charts. I know a lot of people are interested in, bottom fishing these positions, or you may have already bought the bottom, and you're just wondering, what would be some good exit strategies or good strategies to stay in this position for the long term. Now, both of these companies are very popular and very hyped, so I hope you're excited about tonight's video, so that way hopefully we can make a lot of money. That's what it's all about, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, since most people know this story, I'm going to keep it pretty quick here. If I scroll down, you can see, post Hindenburg Report. If you're not familiar with Hindenburg, they're a company or news organization that really just puts out bad news on stocks for bearish trades. Now, that being said, they came out, if we see here, look at this, short seller claims accounting irregularities. Now, Hindenburg Research LLC, an investment research organization, now allege SMCI to be involved in undisclosed third-party transactions and responsible for export control failures. Now, as I scroll down a little bit further here, look, there is no concrete reason to sell SMCI. Now, this article I found very interesting. Hindenburg, they have attacked, a couple stocks in the past, many stocks really. If you've been a subscriber to this channel or, a member of VectorVest for quite a while, their attack on XRO, that gained a lot of attention within our users. Now, there are three companies in this article. The first one being Clover Health. This was back in 2021. The Hindenburg released a report. There were allegations at that time that the DOJ, or Department of Justice, was investigating Clover Health. Now, the thing I find out here is, look, Clover Health admitted that the DOJ did make inquiries about its business, and they were not out of the ordinary. With communication with the DOJ, look, the stock, it dropped 80% on that report, but the article states pretty clearly this company was not a good company either way. The stock would have crumbled with or without the short seller report. That being said, I don't see Crowdstrike or SMCI being in the same category as Clover Health. Now, the next one being DraftKings here. This was back in 2021 as well. Now, the claims were not proven in court. However, that did not stop the damage. You can see since 2021, according to this article, the shares of DraftKings have fallen about 30% since then. Now, the last stock would be Block. Hindenburg also attacked them. This was in 2022. Now, I will say this, Block ended up recovering and is up actually 7% around then. Now, the bigger concerns for this company is not the fact that Hindenburg came out with a report, but the company today is arguably an influx of competing payment options for consumers. In addition to that, its exposure to Bitcoin makes up for about 42% of revenue. Now, this is what it comes down to in this video. Which one is better to buy on the bad news, Crowdstrike or Super Microcomputer? Now, before we get to the stock analysis and the VectorVest 7 software, I will say this, that Crowdstrike, their instance was contained, right? We already know exactly what happened, the outages that affected Delta, Microsoft. I mean, it was the largest cybersecurity mishap in history right now. So yeah, they do have a bad rap for that, but the damage is done. SMCI or Super Micro is an unknown variable because these allegations, we just don't know if they're true or not. You're probably like, Ryan, well, I thought there's only going to be two stocks today. The reason why Dell's on the list right now is because that's SMCI's main competitor, right? So why would I, suggest buying SMCI without at least looking at its competitor who doesn't have the bad news, right? So let's compare these two first. We got SMCI and Dell. They're both undervalued. You can see SMCI trading at $444. We value over $1,000. Dell trading at $111. We value at $152. So both of these companies are greatly undervalued. Now, as far as long-term price appreciation, RV, which compares it to a AAA corporate bond over the next 1 to 3 years, very favorable ratings, but Super Micro clearly leads the charge there. When it comes to safety, the consistency and the predictability in the company's financial performance, Super Micro is also ranked higher, 1.31 compared to Dell's 1.11. Now, RT relative timing, this looks at the magnitude of the price trend. You can clearly see after the Hindenburg report, Super Micro definitely feeling the pain here with an RT of 0.28. Dell Tech, I mean, obviously it's not trending in a bullish manner right now with an unfavorable rating below 1, but the momentum to the downside, much less than SMCI at this time. Now, when it comes to our master indicator, looking at overall value, safety, and timing, SMCI does come in at the top of the list here. However, our recommendations mixed. Sell rating for SMCI. Dell has a hold rating right now. But look at the forecasted sales growth rate and the forecasted earnings here. SMCI clearly beats the competition, being Dell just coming at 9% for the sales growth rate and 19% for the earnings growth rate. Now, I'll let you make the decision on SMCI and Dell. Me personally, I see SMCI as the more aggressive play here, but with a lot more upside potential. However, Dell seems to be the safer pick right now just because of the bad news and publicity surrounding Supermicro. Now, to answer the question, what's the better stock to pick on the bad news, SMCI or Crowdstrike? SMCI definitely the better value here. As we can see, Crowdstrike trading at $225. We only value the company at $80. Even the RV and RS are fundamental indicators here. SMCI clearly takes the charge. RT relative timing, both of them showing downward momentum. Along with that, the VST, our master indicator, clearly puts SMCI in the winning space. Now, both of these stocks do have sell recommendations. So if you're going to buy these, definitely have a plan in place. As far as forecasted data, you could clearly see the winner here, SMCI. So as far as the VectorVest 7 software, I would have to put SMCI on top of the list. Now, before we go buy any stocks, we're always going to take a look at the stock charts and see exactly what key levels we need to be looking at. All right, here we got SMCI. You can see right away the reason why I'm getting a little bit more optimistic here. The 3 is crossing above the 8-day exponential moving average. As we speak here, we see that the 8 is at 437, the 3 is at 435. So you can see that the momentum is starting to change around a little bit, right? However, this happened before. You can see back here earlier in August, price action failed to get above that 20-day exponential moving average. So I'm going to give you a real short, easy trade setup. You see my key level here at 494. That was the prior swing low. So I'd like to see price action get above this level. But if you notice, the 20-day exponential moving average sits right around here, just below $500. So in order for me to get, warm and fuzzy about SMCI, the 3 has to be above the 8, which we already have. However, I want to see price action break above this key level of 494, surpassing the prior low, and get above the 20-day exponential moving average. Now, at the time, that would put you in SMCI around $500, and with our valuation closer to $1,000, I'm pretty confident this will work out. Now, the only concern is, just keep informed of what's going on with the Hindenburg reports, because if any of these items come out to be true, most of the damage is probably already done, but what is the extent of the damage, right? That question should be answered within the next few months. Now we've got Crowdstrike. I can already tell you one thing I like about it. This low right here, higher than the prior low. So by definition, that is getting us into a uptrend situation here. We see the 3 converging to the 8, even price action really close to that 20-day exponential moving average. So you could see the trade setup getting ready to happen potentially, right? Now, if you want more confirmation to the upside, this is the level of resistance I'm looking at for the prior high at 285. If we can get above this level of resistance, you can see the zone here, 2 levels of resistance, pretty close to each other. The other one just above $300. But if we break above that, guess what? We got a gap to fill, and that gap gets us to about $338. Right before the trouble started, you can see the gap down during the situation here. So that being said, the moving average setup is already about to happen. You're going to see some resistance in shortly after that. So if you see a little whipsaw, wouldn't be surprised. But the target price here is still filling this gap, especially if price action can find its way back above this resistance zone. All right, VV Nation. Now, as far as these 2 companies here, when it comes to their news, I would have to say Crowdstrike is in the better position. We already know what happened. SMCI, they're allegations, right? So whether they're proved or disproved, then news can resurface pretty easily. Now, as far as a technical aspect, both of these companies are approaching the 20-day exponential moving average. We see that Crowdstrike is a little bit closer to that, right? Therefore, I'd like to see the 3 and 8 get above that 20-day moving average to really give us a sense that trend is starting to turn around. Now, you can see opportunities will be presenting themselves in the near future here. Both companies could, potentially get to that 20-day exponential moving average within the next few trading sessions if momentum keeps to the upside. Now, if you enjoyed tonight's presentation, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week. Have a good night.